Mm, I'm always very skeptical about any parallels with the game of chess, because in chess we have rules, and dictators, they don't play chess, they play card games like poker, because they bluff, they raise the stakes. And game of chess, you follow certain rules and patterns, and you know that you cannot break them. Dictators, they just follow the rules only if it suits them. And Putin, by the way, demonstrates that while we want to follow the rules, he can go beyond them. And I think one of the reasons that situation in Ukraine is so tragic is that Europe and America still don't want to recognize that we're at war. Okay, here are in Poland. Poles, Lithuanians, Latvians, Estonians, Finns, I think Romanians, they have genetic memory. They understand that Putin's aggression will not end in Ukraine. So if he wins, God forbid, so he'll move beyond Ukraine and everybody will be in grave danger. But the problem is when we look west of Poland, situation changes. In Berlin, in Paris, in Washington, in Brussels, there is still an attempt to find some sort of a compromise, a common ground, how we can go back to not business as usual, but still to avoid dramatic decisions. And we have Putin's lobbying spreading across Europe. We still have Hungary that is just openly supporting Putin. Now we have Slovakia. And when I asked my friends in Europe or America, they tell me, look, what can you do? Mr. Orban is part of Europe. I said, wait a second. It's war. At war, you do not have to follow the rules made at peacetime. War means, you have to reconsider everything you've done before. You don't win war on consensus. So I think it's very important that the true understanding of nature of Putin, the correct evaluation of the situation, which you can find here in Warsaw or in Tallinn, in Riga, in Vilnius, in Helsinki, to be accepted by Europe, by America, by NATO, and we have to recognize we're at war. And this war is not just against Ukraine, it's a war against our way of life. It's a war against liberal order. And Vladimir Putin must be defeated. As long as Putin stays in power, the war would not end. And the moment we understand it, we should act accordingly. And I believe that we still have enough resources, more than enough resources, to make sure Ukraine wins the war. Because this is, going back to chess, another parallel. This war, like chess, has no draw, no tie. You cannot end up, win-win situation. No, it's either we win or we lose, and Putin wins. And that will be a signal for every other dictator on the planet. It's not to educate them. Somehow situation is even worse than before World War II. Because when we revisit history pages and we talk about Hitler's rise to power or so, and we knew that those who could have stopped him in the 30s, they had no idea what would come next. Today, there's no excuse of not knowing. We know that World War II was not just Hitler, but it was Stalin, who with Hitler divided Poland and basically initiated World War II. Yeah, and the fact that Stalin fought for the war on the side of allies, it's not because he wanted it, but because he had no other choice. But the moment he had an upper hand, he came back to his original plan to conquer Europe, and Poland was one of the victims of Stalin's aggression. Today we just think, oh, well, we have all the resources, and we have no excuse about not knowing, but where's political will? And we just have to knock at every door to move every stone, that it's not leaving any stone untouched. But we're dealing with human complacency. The life in Berlin or in Paris is too good to believe our stories, which doesn't mean that we have to stop trying, because war is going on. Unfortunately, now the mass media in the free world, in America or in Europe, concentrates on Gaza, which is, again, it's a tragic war, but Putin every night drops more explosives on Ukraine than Israel in Gaza for 6 months. So it's easy to switch attention, but we should keep repeating one thing: Putin is war, And Putin is the center of this global net of dictators. He's like a spider in the center. And as long as Putin stays in power, the war will not stop. And if we do nothing now, he will crush Ukraine and move beyond that.
Yes.
Look, it's a tiny segment of the big picture. The key is, again, it's recognizing we're at war and not offering Putin any escape route, because Putin finances the war through oil and gas and now natural resources sales in the free world, actually in the world. But the free world did nothing to stop it. It's all the measures that are being taken, all the sanctions, package after package, they all have loopholes because nobody wants to recognize we're at war. So yes, Poland understands how bad Putin is, but you still can find Polish goods in Moscow because it's business. Business finds a way. You don't sell to Russia, you sell to Kazakhstan or to Kyrgyzstan. So you could see that even countries like Estonia or Finland, they all have the businesses, rerouting the goods. Let's close it. Let's stop it. Let's make sure that the Russia will not be able to fund the war through these sales, and also the sanctions will block export in Russia of the from European countries, from America, the fundamentals that are crucial for Putin's war industry. Most of Russian drones that are attacking Ukraine, they have American chips. So this is American details. So this is, and how come? Look, it's I believe that as long as we live, we have to make a difference, and I think that's my name and my position. Just leave me with no choice because of my character, but to fight back. It's fight not only for future of Russia, but the future of the world, because the outcome of this war in Ukraine, the outcome of the fight, for future of Russia will influence our future, the whole globe, and I hope that my modest contribution to this fight, will make a difference. Look, I'm very confident that chess has a bright future. All the doomsday scenarios that the computers will kill chess, nobody will follow the game. No, to the contrary, the game is more popular than ever because computers, they obviously influence the way the chess being played on the top, but the computers also offer more opportunities for amateurs to follow the game. You don't have to wait for commentaries or an expert. You just can look at the screen and you understand exactly what Magnus Carlsen or other great players, or Gukesh or Duda, what they're doing. So I think that's the fact is that we here in Warsaw we have a chess tournament where Magnus, who is 30, he's turning 33 this year. He's the oldest player. That's a great sign. So I think we have more reasons to celebrate than to panic.